Let me give 5 more minutes. I had a meeting I'm speaking with. I was invited. Is there a problem? Hello everyone, I'm actually turning on my video in a minute. I'm trying to um, make a quick change here on my part. Okay, hello everybody. Um, how did I? Please give me 1 minute. Hmm. Hello everyone, good evening from here. I hope we're doing okay, and I hope we had a fantastic day so far. So very quickly, we're just gonna have um, a word of prayer. Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for your love. Thank you for making us in your image and in your likeness. As we go into the teaching, we ask that you open our understanding and help us to learn new things today. In Jesus' name, amen. Can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Oh my. Benny says she can't hear me. Can the rest of you hear me though? Okay, Falashade gives me a thumbs up. Benny, maybe you want to log out and log back in. That might help. I'm getting a thumbs up from Falashade. Okay, Benny can hear me now. Okay, good. All right. So very quickly, I am excited about what I'm going to share with you today. And I believe that you will learn, I will learn. It might, for some of you, it might be something that you already know, but it's just to reinforce it again and to remind us of what we already know. And we're looking at taking care of our body. Okay, thank you for your thumbs up. I see you. I'm glad you can hear me now. In taking care of our body, I'm going to start by telling you this story. I went some time ago. I went for a, a party, a birthday party, and I find the people being celebrated, wonderful, amazing couple, and I find that the man is up and about, well out of his 70s into his 80s, and mom is probably in maybe something thereabout. And I find that everybody was present, children, spouses, grandchildren. It was a very full house and they were being celebrated. But you could tell that um, the woman wasn't enjoying her body very well because of one one there was just a lot of pain. She was in a lot of pain, having a lot of pain. And you know, I just sat back and I said to myself, wow, isn't this an irony? When you're unmarried, you don't know some things. When you're married and you start having children, you just realize that, okay, some things are different. If you're a mom with little children, when you see older women that had children when they were little, you'll be like, you give them fresh respect because you're asking yourself, how did this person do this? How did this person do this? That was exactly my case. As I watched everybody, I asked myself, how did this woman raise all of these people who are now, you know, all in their various fields, excelling in their different professions? And when, you know how it was time to speak and each child spoke, one of the children said, oh, she had, she said she was fun. That growing up, she was fun. And I said to myself, wow, what happened? Which leads to what we are talking about today, learning to take care of our bodies. The body of a woman and the body of a man are two different things. Women, the way we were made, a woman is more delicate. Now, of course, I understand that some people are physically very strong and they can even beat up some men. And I quite agree with that. But the point today, and for each one of us, is in taking care of our bodies, what do we do? What can we do to care for our bodies? I remember I went for a conference one time and we were, the person who hosted that conference was a doctor of the right brain. And so we were giving the colors, we were giving the brain, a picture of the brain to color. We were giving crayons, we had to color like little children, and everybody had to color. And it was very fascinating. You know how you can't even remember the last time you colored, and we all had to color. By the time we were done with coloring, we were given like maybe 20 minutes or even 30 minutes. Like, take your time, play with colors, just color. And everybody sat down, we were coloring. By the time we were done coloring, and she picked up samples and started analyzing the brain. I said to myself, there's a reason why people go to school. There's a reason why people go to school. So everybody who colored, so you know how, for instance, the amygdala, the front part of the brain, is responsible for this. The back part of the brain is responsible for that. The left, the right, every part of the brain is responsible for one thing or the other. That is exactly how the different colors. So I use the different color. Everybody use different colors, just as you wish. By the time she started analyzing, you color this part of the brain because this is what is happening in your life. And that was a fact. That was actually what was happening in those people's lives. You colored this part of the brain with this. The reason why you chose this color is because this is what's happening in your life currently. And that was it. So you find that we were coloring the brain with different colors. And we didn't even know that what we were coloring, there was a reason why we were using why we were using the colors we were using. And she mentioned that when she has therapy sessions with her clients, and a client will come in for therapy, before the client come into the room where she is to have that session with her, the secretary would have given that client colors and the brain, color the brain as an activity before it's time for the one-on-one session. And usually by the time the person colors and she holds the colors and she analyzes it, when the person comes in for a one-on-one and she's asking the person questions, guess what? Sometimes what they are saying and what they colored are two different things. Because what they think is the problem is not actually the problem. What they think is the problem is not the problem. In fact, what they say the problem is not the problem, because what they colored gave the correct information of what is currently happening in their lives, even though their mouth said different things. That just shows you the power of the subconscious. So, in taking care of our bodies, the first thing is this: your body, my body, is the temple of God. How can we take care of our body? How can we honor God with our body? Not for anything, but number one, for you. Taking care of your body for you. So you hear people say, take care of yourself for your children. Do it for you first. The Bible says you cannot, the Bible says love your neighbor as you love yourself. So before you love your neighbor is your child, is your neighbor, the people closest to you, people around you are your neighbors. Before you talk about loving your neighbor, love you first. And how can you love you? So I'm just going to break it very briefly. Your body, loving your body. How do you love your body? Move around, move around a lot. So I listened to a study. The study was between, like all these people who, um, you don't call them cleaners, you call them janitors. Some people call them, there's another title that they're given. But let me use the word janitor, for instance. The people who maybe clean hotels, people who clean rooms in hotels and who clean hotels really. They have, if for instance, say a five-star hotel that is 12 floors or 15 floors or 20 floors, and each floor has maybe 15 rooms, and they are short staffed or they have just a few people. Usually, it's not too many people cleaning. So the people who clean do a lot of work. Now, this person cleaning, this is a study. This actually happened. Now, this study, they brought a woman who did this cleaning, and she worked from, like, maybe if it's a 12-hour shift, she worked 12 hours, and then she works every day, versus somebody who said intentionally, I want to begin to exercise, I want to take care of my body, I want blood circulation, I want to be healthy. And the person begins to exercise every day for 30 minutes, even if it's just a few minutes walk every day, or just 30 minutes jogging, or 30 minutes walk. Now, look at this. The person who is working as a janitor in that hotel is clearly doing more work in terms of physical activity, moving the body back and forth, versus the person who intentionally said, I will work 30 minutes every day. These two people, the person who does 12 hours shift and the person who walks every day for 30 minutes, by the time they did a study for a couple of days, they brought both of them together. Guess what? The person who walked intentionally had better health, was in a better health condition than the person who was doing the 12-hour shift. Do you know why? The brain, the intention. This person said, I will take care of my body, and so I'm going to begin to exercise just so that I can be fit and I can be a healthier version of myself. Versus the woman who said, I'm going to work. This is work. So I'm working. So even though she was actually exercising her body, the her body interpreted it differently. Her body got a different signal. Please, I need your response in the chat. I want to be sure that we are on the same page and that you are following the analogy I'm giving. What does that show you? Intentionality. Now, when they showed this woman couldn't believe her eyes. So she was told, repeat, go back to work the following week, but this time around, at the back of your mind, be intentional and say to yourself, yes, I am working, but more importantly, I'm moving my body around and it's a form of exercise for me, and I'm going to derive pleasure in what I'm doing. She did that for a week. She came back and they checked her body and her health was in a better condition. Now, let me surprise you with this as well. Two people were eating food, regular food, plate of food, and the person who had a plate of food, as he's eating, he's saying to himself, if he's in his heart, he's thankful that, oh, thank God I even have food to eat. And as he's eating it, because he knows that I'm eating healthy, this food is healthy and is good for my body. As he's eating it, in that attitude of thanksgiving, the brain interpreted the food that he was eating differently. And even though the food was cholesterol dense, by the time the food entered the body, of course, all of this was a study going on, and there were different things connected to the body to, pick the signal that the body was giving. The food that, even though it was dense with cholesterol and it was supposed to, wasn't so great for the body, as soon as it entered the person's body, it diversified immediately to a different thing completely. And it didn't stick to the body as it was supposed to cause harm. Do you know why? Because of the brain, because of the mindset, because of the attitude of that person while he was eating, versus the other people who ate the exact same meal, but that intention wasn't present. It was just eating. That cholesterol that got into their body, it had a different thing. It did a different thing in their body because it harmed them, as cholesterol will do. What do you notice? What do you see? Do you notice the difference that, yes, it's the same activity, but one is laced with a lot of intention? One is laced with a lot of intention. So this is us sharing today and saying to ourselves, you should be, you must be intentional in caring for your body, in saying to yourself, Even when you put food in your mouth and you're eating, be intentional about it. You are thankful for it. You are eating it. And you are saying to yourself, is it the healthiest version I could have gotten? Is it the healthiest version I could have prepared for myself? That's one. Number two, in taking care of our bodies, one other thing I'm going to share with us is this: planning our day, planning our week. It is very easy, especially as a mom, to feel overwhelmed. It's very easy to feel overwhelmed because it's like you are doing too much. You are doing multiple things at the same time. You are the nurse, you are the doctor, you are the driver, you are the cook, you are the this, you are the that. You're doing multiple things at the same time. It's possible to even sometimes you forget to eat. You remember, I haven't eaten today. Then you quickly just put anything in your mouth. No, in thinking of our bodies and in being intentional, we begin to plan our week ahead of time. I will encourage you because I do this and it works for me. On Sunday, or pick, of course, this is just me. You can pick any day you like. On Sunday, at the beginning of the week, sit down, you ask yourself, what do I want to do this week? What are my to-dos? Either personally or your to-dos for your business if you run a business. And then you sit down, you make a table, you split it into two. You write down personal, you write down business. You write down, as it comes to your mind, just write it down. All the tasks, all the to-dos, just put it down, write it down, write it down. Just let it out of your head because your brain, your best, your best, your best, your best friend is not your memory, it's your pen. It's your pen. An idea can change your life literally. So don't underestimate the power of one idea or even underestimate it and say, oh, it will come again. Have you ever had a situation where you had an idea and you said to yourself, I will write this down later. Let me just finish this up. By the time you finish that thing up, guess what? You can't remember what you wanted to write. You're like, no, I can't believe this. It's here, but you can't find it. Information gone. It's no longer there. That is what happens when there is no, when you don't make use of your pen. So now you may not have a pen, but you have your phone, right? Let there be a place in your phone where you can put down some of those notes or some of those ideas or some of those inspiration whenever they come. Now, when you write out those things, your to-dos, when you have written down everything, the things you are like, okay, these are the things I need to do this week. The next thing you do is you assign days to each task. You can say to yourself, okay, these ones I'll do them on Monday, these things I'll do them on Tuesday, these ones I'll get to them on Wednesday, on Thursday. Write the days at the end of each task. Okay, this one M Monday, this one starts from F Friday. You write it down. Now, you just put it there. That's like your weekly planner. When it's Sunday night, when you want to go to bed, before you sleep, pick up your journal. Write down your to-dos for Monday. These are the things I want to get done on Monday. You can look at that planner, lift those things you had put an M by the side, write it down as the things you want to do on Monday. Now, when you start your day, you do a mental, maybe after your quiet time, after your devotion, okay, these are the things that I want to get done. Let me tell you what this will do. It will eliminate the feeling of being overwhelmed. Many times we are overwhelmed. Many times don't have, we don't get a lot of things done. I forgot. Forgot. Don't give that job to your memory. It's not even fair. Write it down. And as the day progresses, look at it. So now you might say, are you telling me that I'm going to take a journal even into my kitchen and take a journal everywhere? My children will tear the paper. You can take a screenshot of it. You can take a picture of it with your phone, or you can even write it down on your phone. Just choose whatever works for you. I know some women that will write down their to-dos and stick it on their kitchen counter. Some people will stick it on top of their fridge so that they can always look at it as they go about their day. So whatever works for you is fine. Some people even write it on their calendar that hangs on the wall. Whatever works for you, really. Now, when you have written this down, as you carry out the day's activities, even if you are not able to finish up all the to-dos for today, that's okay. Because sometimes, like you know already, life happens, and some things out of the blues, like activities can come up and they will completely disrupt your entire day. That's fine. When the day is over, before you go to bed, you sit down and you reflect. How did my day go? How did I spend my day? How did I spend my day? Reflect on the conversations you had, the calls you made, the people you spent time with, the time you spent on the social media. Reflect on your own actions. There are times when, as you reflect, you find out, I didn't quite say this thing right. You can send a message to whoever and you can maybe reach out to the person the following day and make amends if you feel like, okay, these things weren't done right. Or if you even feel like, okay, it had to do with my child, you can decide to, check in with your child the next day, even if it's a 2-year-old, check in with your child the following day. Apologize to the child. Oh, I'm sorry. I said this, I did this. And you get that out of the way. Now, as you put down those to-dos, I want to tell you this. Put a few minutes to just, even if it's to take a nap, even if it's to rest. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, sometimes your body gives you signal like, I'm down and out, enough. Does that happen to you? Does that happen to you? I want to hear us. I want to see our comments in the chat. I want to be sure that you are following. I want to be sure that we are following. Please, can I see your chat? If you are here and you're listening and we're together, please let me see your response. Okay. Now, another thing I'm going to share with us in taking care of our body. So I've mentioned a lot about everything I've said now about writing your to-dos, writing the planning for the week. It's supposed to help help your mind declutter. Because sometimes it's too many things we keep up here. So it's like mental, you lie down, you can't sleep because your brain is replaying a lot of things. So this helps in taking care of your body. This is literally your mind, like a mind care. It helps you to declutter. In taking care of your body, another thing I'm going to share with us is taking supplements. Supplements, supplements, supplements. For those of us who are into medicine or people who are into healthcare, you will agree with me that there are different, nutrients that our bodies need every day, every single day. And the truth is, the food we eat, we don't exactly take every single nutrient our body needs. Because sometimes, we just don't take it. Sometimes it's the class of food we end up taking every day. But that is where supplements come in. Because as a woman, let's assume you're not married and you don't have children yet. You see your monthly cycle. Now let's assume you're married. Maybe you don't have children yet. Your body is going through a lot already. Now let's assume you have children. You There was a lot of blood that was lost at delivery. Even if it was through natural delivery or C-section, a lot of blood was lost. And I just remembered something now that happened when I had one of my children. It was captured. The picture and the video was captured. But you see, it was captured when I was still cut open. You know how it is if you're having a C-section, you're not even seeing what is happening. But the whole thing was captured, and I remember I was showing that picture to a woman. Was it my mother-in-law? To someone. Everybody who sees that goes, "Ah, turn it off, please, turn it off. I don't want to see," because it's a gory sight. My my stomach was open, my womb, everything. They just brought out the child. The child was still connected to the placenta. It was still in the womb. It was still connected to the baby before it was even cut. It was a very gory sight. This is just an example of how much blood women lose. Now, your body has gone through all these beautiful experiences. And because we just look at the mirror, but we don't even know what's happening on the inside. Yes, there's a place for, um, trusting God as we take care of the spiritual part of it, but there's also the physical part. So this is me preaching the message of supplements. I don't sell supplements. I don't do the business of supplement selling. But I assure you, dear woman, you need one for your body. because of the blood loss that your body experiences. You need to beef up and you need to, help your body regain all the nutrients that it loses every day, even as you go about your daily activities. So your supplements are important. And the question becomes, what kind of supplement do I get? What kind of supplement do I take? I don't know if you are aware that as a woman, one of the things that happen is the your bones, your bones, I'm trying to look for the name, osteoporosis, something happens to the woman's bones as she gets older. That is why in taking this supplement, it helps us to have our bodies it helps our bodies to regain the regain the blood regain with osteoporosis. Thank you, Benny. This is basically the bones becoming weaker as we get older, and this is not actually peculiar to only women. It includes men, but even more so the woman. It helps your body. Now you might say, what if as a woman I don't have the money to buy the supplements? You can get vegetables. You can just get vegetables and blend them or eat them or prepare them in whatever way that it works, because they are very nutrient dense. And as much as you can incorporate vegetables in what you eat. I don't know how many of you remember our sister last week when she was sharing Rejoice on the colon, and she was talking about colon cancer, and she was talking about the colon. One of the things was um she mentioned was, I still remember this example. She said, if you're going to have bread, don't just eat bread. Let there be some sort of vegetables in it. But just basically becoming intentional about incorporating vegetables in what we eat because of what it does for our bodies. So taking these supplements help. And even if you're not able to get them, you can replace them with a lot of vegetables as much as you can. Just being intentional, read up on these things. Okay, what and you might live in a country or in a community or in a society or in a place, really your location might just be, how some tropical areas have some seasonal foods. In this season, what are the food that is cheap? And as they are cheap, you can use them. You just go ahead and make use of that for now. Now, one last thing I'm going to share with us is being intentional about even our water intake and in how much we exercise. And by exercising, I'm not saying you should go and kill yourself in the gym or go and do 2 hours or even 1 hour. I'm just saying, even if it's 3 times a week, it's just the consistency and the intentionality that's the most important thing, you know. And what are your goals? Is it just weight loss or is it just being fit? Whatever it is. Because there are people who are very slim and they're not healthy at all. So, of course, this is not encouraging obesity. All I'm saying is, whatever your body type is, taking care of your body by just sometimes it might just be a walk, might just be a walk, might just be a walk around your block. In fact, if you want to give yourself ginger, you can tell yourself that you are doing prayer walk. You can call it a prayer walk. And as you're walking, you're praying. I'm going to pray for 1 hour. And you can tell yourself you can split it into 3 days. Let's assume you're working for 3 days. You're working 3 days a week. You can tell yourself the first day of the week, I'm going to be praying about my business. The second day of the week, I'm going to work. Maybe you work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can say Wednesday dedicated to my children. I'll pray for 1 hour and I'll pray for my children. The Friday, you can say to yourself, just pick a topic or something that you want to address in prayer, and then decide to make it a prayer walk and walk. You know, and something happens when you engage in these things. One of the things that happen is the toxins that leave your body. You find out that your body is releasing a lot of toxins, a lot of unwanted things. So have you ever noticed this, that people who work out, their skin is different from people who don't work out? It doesn't matter how much skincare the other person is doing, because there's something that comes with it. Your body is like it's excreting a lot of crap. It lets out a lot of things that your body don't actually need. And then even the feeling of the general feeling of well-being, overall feeling good, even about yourself. And then have you noticed this? The people who work out, they're usually happier. Do you know what? And then if you see, try this yourself. The moment you begin to work out, let me tell you what happens. You just notice that you're happier. And then one last two things left actually before we round up. The second to the last thing, thinking of your body, is this: avoid negativity. I was shocked. There's a book, title of that book, but the book talks about the water in your body, how the water in your body reacts to negative environments. So as much as possible, tell yourself, I choose to be happy. You see, you are the person that will make yourself happy. You find many women, they're in a home, or maybe they're in a marriage that's not working, or things are not working, and they say, oh, I'm not happy. No, 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 no. You're the person that will decide to be happy. You are the minister in charge of happiness. Minister in charge of happiness. I want you to type in the chat box, right? I am the minister in charge of happiness. You are a minister in charge of your own happiness. You are the person that will decide to be happy. So you see people on social media, right? This person makes me so happy. And of course, I'm not against that. That's possible. But you are the person who will be in charge of your own happiness. You are the minister in charge of your own happiness. You are the person who will decide, I will be happy, whether or whether not. I will be happy regardless of what is happening around me. Regardless of what is happening around you, whatever is the external circumstance, tell yourself you will be happy. And by the time you decide to be happy, do you know that a lot of people who are happy, if you find some people who are unhappy, you'll be asking yourself, wait, repeat it again. Why did you say you are not happy? Why did you say you're not happy? Because you and I, we react to, we don't react to circumstances. No, we react to conditioning. We react to the way we have already been conditioned. So you find two people experience the same thing, but one person was mad, the other person wasn't mad. You see that the circumstance was different. No, the circumstance wasn't different. What actually happened was the two people were conditioned differently, and so they responded to that situation in a different way. So you are the person who, when you wake up like this in the morning, when you wake up like this, you're sleeping, you wake up in the morning. Once you open your eye, just tell yourself, I'm minister in charge of happiness. I decide to be happy today. I choose to be happy. When things begin to happen and they want to frustrate you, when you remember, tell yourself, no, I ain't going to be frustrated. I choose happiness. You are the person who will choose happiness. Nobody will make you happy. You see, I'm not happy with you. No, you're not happy. You are the person that don't want to be happy. You can choose to be happy. And I know that is something many people don't want to hear, because it's like, how can you absolve people of their responsibility? No, it's not about absolving people of their responsibility. It's about you taking responsibility for your own happiness, so that you will live longer and you'll be a happier version of yourself. And you'll be a happier version of yourself even when you show up in your business, at your job, whoever it is you're relating with, you'll be a happier version of yourself. Have you ever, let me ask you this question. Have you ever hung around people who are unhappy? They make even you miserable. So you don't want to even hang around them. So if you don't want to hang around people who are unhappy and miserable, why do you want to be that unhappy and miserable person? You are the person who will tell yourself, I choose to be happy. Make the most of every day. And then the last thing I'm going to share with us today in taking care of your body is watch out for your self-talk. What are the things you say to yourself? Do you know that every day you talk to yourself? Are you aware? Those things you call thoughts are you speaking to yourself. And research has shown that the things we say to ourselves oftentimes is the words that were said to us when we were little growing up. As a matter of fact, I think they said from 0 to 3 or 0 to 5. So these are very, very important years in the raising up of children. So whatever it is, however it is you were raised, you are the person right now who can say to yourself, I will choose my self-talk. When you find yourself saying to yourself, I am this, I am that, immediately snap out of it and tell yourself no, and switch it up. Let me tell you, it is better if you do not if you forget everything I said today, don't forget this. It is better to engage in mental toil than physical toil. The people who engage in mental toil, they don't do as much physical work as people who engage in only physical toil. the people who engage in mental toil, because it is in that place of meditation, it is in that place of thinking, that is where you create from. So this last point, put it this way: your self-talk, yes, but even more so, you making the choice or making the decision to say, you know what, I will choose to do what is right regardless, and I will speak to myself kindly. Do you know, as women, we beat up ourselves? Oh my God, we beat up ourselves. We beat up ourselves sometimes for our mistakes, sometimes for our faults, but we are the ones who will say to ourselves, you know what, be kind to yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. Have to learn to be kind to you. And this begins with your own self-talk. Allow yourself to be in, have female friends. Oh my God. I'm not saying that your husband should not be your best friend though. I'm just saying, have other women in your life. Have other women in your circle, older than you, younger than you, and on the same wavelength with you. Have women in your life that understand you, that understand, each season of life that you're going through, that you can speak with. And I understand people say, I don't like, I've heard people say, oh, I don't like women as friends. I don't like to have relationship with women because women have trouble with gossip and all these things. That's true. But there are still some genuine people out there. And I'm going to end here. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you have any question, please go ahead and ask. Or if you want to share something that you feel like, okay, this is definitely beneficial, please go ahead and share. The floor is open. I believe I'm finished at this point. Anybody? Anybody? Benny, iPhone, Olashade. Anybody? 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 Okay. Before we round up, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask each one of us to, share briefly for you. What's like your take home? What's like, okay, this stood out for me. Benny, can you type, or do you want to unmute yourself and share? Benny, iPhone. I'm in charge of my own. Okay. Start the week with a to-do list and actively cross it out as the day progresses. Okay. Benny, thank you for sharing. Thank you to the lady for sharing. iPhone for Lashadi.
Okay, thank you so much, sis. The word for today resonates with me very well. Like I could relate what you're talking about. For me, what I was able to get from this particular session is don't overwork your brain. Put everything down on a piece of paper or a planner or your journal. Just ensure you relieve your brain of being overwhelmed. Write everything out, analyze it, and also be kind to yourself. Speak positive things to yourself, about yourself. Then, whatsoever you want to commence, either be it exercising, be it taking up new challenge, you should be positive about it. You should speak life into it. Whatever you um emphasize with your um mentally, whatever you emphasize mentally is the result you see from the outcome of whatever you've decided to start. So that's what I could pick from today's session. Thank you.
So thank you very much for sharing. Yes, so usually I like to hear at the end of our conversations what stood out to you, because definitely at least one thing stands out, especially when you come with an attitude to learn something new. Every week when we come for our sessions, I actually learn a lot from everybody. I usually pick at least something, one thing from what everybody has to share. Thank you very much, dear sisters, for taking the time to invest. This is you really investing in yourself. When we come for these classes, this is you investing in yourself, because one information you hear can change your life. One idea you can get can completely revolutionize your life. So if you feel like, oh, I don't have female friends, pray, Lord, lead me to the right people, and you'll be surprised how God can do that for you. Okay, let's have a word of prayer. Father, I thank you so much for today. Thank you for every one of us here today. Thank you for the lessons we have learned. Thank you for the teaching. Thank you because you have just helped us to know that we need to take care of our bodies. Many times as women, we'll take care of everybody but ourselves, because that is what we saw. That is what we learned passively. And that is what we already imbibe in ourselves. But help us, Lord, to always be intentional and deliberate in how we show up every day, how we show up in our personal lives, how we show up for our own selves, how we show up for our families, how we show up for our businesses. Help us to be intentional about how we show up for everything that we do. In the name of Jesus, let your wisdom, let your grace avail for us, that we will live happier lives, will be better versions of ourselves every day, as we keep investing in ourselves and growing and unlearning the old ways that do not serve your purpose in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your evening or afternoon or morning, whatever you're